Oh, hello, everybody. Welcome to Sunday Night Ghost Stories on a Sunday, as nature intended. We're up here in the library tonight. We've got the fire on, we've got the candles on, we've got the incense burning away up there on the bookcase. And I have perched on my lap here the derpy lurpiness. So, what are we reading? We are still reading this excellent Haunted Places of Scotland, which is absolutely a brilliant book. What are we drinking tonight? We are drinking Mikkeller West Coast Pale Ale. Come on, get off. West Coast Pale Ale, 4.8%. Doesn't really say anything. It's the elements of beer hops. Doesn't really say anything else. That's it. It's called Sun Bliss. So that's the interesting illustration. But there we go. That's tonight's beer. No. Oh, God. Never work with children and animals, they used to say. Ouch. Right. Come on, settle down. We are washing it down with the single grain Scotch whiskey from from Lidl. Oh, right. Tell you what, there we go. I'll draw my legs together. Not in that sense. Right. That's what it is, trying to do a ghost story show with this cat. Anyway, so we are reading Haunted Places of Scotland, 2nd edition. So here we go. Dibbidal Bothy Rum. Although not one of the largest of the Western Isles, Rum is one of the most impressive, with rugged mountains rising to more than 2,500 foot, it says here. Once home to more than 400 people, there are now only some 25 residents. On the island is the impressive but slightly incongruous Kinloch Castle, a large Edwardian mansion which was built by the Bullough family after they had purchased the island in the 1880s. On the southeast side of Rum at Dibbidal and reached along a rough track is a bothy. This is said to be haunted by the bogle of a fisherman who wakes sleepers by sitting on their legs and preventing them from moving before it disappears through a walled-up doorway. Goodness me, Derp. Things that sit on your legs and prevent you from moving. I think we will have a beer now because, cheers me beers. Didn't say anything about what flavours to expect. Let's have a quick read of this. Says brewed and canned for Mikkeller in the EU, imported into the UK, blah, blah, blah. Ingredients: water, barley, malt, hops, yeast. Allergens include gluten, shown in bold. And it doesn't say anything else. Apart from it's a West Coast Indian Pale Ale. So, and it is very pale. It's very pale compared to the chocolate, that's the coffee stout, which we'll be having in part 2. But there we go. You know what this means, don't we? And Run VT.
Oh, it's jolly nice of you. Hello, dead soldier. Seen plenty of those in my time.
Indeed. Dick Montlaw Farm. Dick Montlaw Farm. The sound of pipe music is reputedly to be heard at times coming from the hearth of Dick Montlaw Farm. The story goes that a piper called Tam Tyree, his wife, and his dog took refuge in a cave by the sea, more than 1.5 miles away from the farm. Tam found an opening in the back of the cave and they went to investigate, but got lost in the dark, and his spirit is said to still be trying to find a way out, playing the pipes as it wanders the subterranean passageways. It has been suggested that this was a story put about to dissuade people from frequenting the caves, which are believed to have been used for smuggling at one time. Bum, bum, bum. Incroyable, Derp. Incroyable. Anyway, in the magnificent Rush beer glass, again from viewers Kirsten and Steve in the United States. God bless you. Says on the back, beers are for tourists, beer is for geniuses. I wholeheartedly agree. Oh, and we're going to have a bit of a shot as well. So, right. Discovery Point, Dundee. Discovery Point is the home of Discovery Point is the home of Discovery Point is the home of RRS Discovery, Captain Scott's Antarctic ship. Within the complex are 8 exhibition areas using lighting, graphics, and special effects to recreate key moments in the Discovery's history. The ship has been extensively restored below deck. Discovery is said to be haunted by unexplained footsteps on deck and other disturbances. Suggested identities for the ghost include Ernest Shackleton or Charles Bonner, one of the crew, who fell from the Crow's Nest to his death in 1901. Is it Crow's Nest or Crow's Nest, Derp? Perhaps we'll look that up at halftime. Open all year, daily, closed 25th and 26th December, telephone number, website, featured in Living TV's Most Haunted, Series 8, 2006. I think we will have a bit more beer. Slange. Dolphinston Tower. There was once a strong castle here, but nothing remains, and the site is occupied by Dolphinston Farm. The lands were a property of Dolphin, son of Cospatrick, in the 11th century, hence the name. Dolphinston was held by the Ainsley family from the 13th century or earlier, but passed by marriage to the Kerrs about 300 years later. The tower is said to have had a brownie at one time, but the easily offended drudge left after being given a garment which it disliked, reputedly crying, "Since ye given me a hardened ramp, nae mair o' your corn I will tramp." Good acting, that, he said. Blah, 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 blah. Next one's Donny Bristle Castle. Oh, don't know about you, Derp, but I's girt starving today. What about to eat today? Got beer hiccups coming up. We've had a not a chocolate bar. What would you call it? It's a high fiber bar, and I think that's it. Probably a mint in the car. Well, yeah, that's it. So cheers, me beers. Oh, slange. Oh. Donny Bristle Castle. Once a fine castle and mansion, nothing now survives of Donny Bristle House except 2 service wings after the building was accidentally burned down in 1858. The lands were a property of the Abbey of Inchholm, but were passed to the Stuart Earls of Moray. In recent times, the housing estates of Dalgety Bay were built on the land. It was here at the shore. It was at the shore here in 1592 that James Stuart, no, not him, the bonny Earl of Moray, was murdered by the Gordon Earl of Huntly, as recounted in the old ballad. Huntley had been given a commission to capture Moray as the Bonnie Earl was suspected of being involved in a plot against James VI. And it has also been suggested that Moray was showing an undue interest in Anne of Denmark, James's wife. The Gordons besieged Donnybristle and set it alight, and Moray had no choice but to flee across the beach as the flames took hold, but he was then cornered. Moray reportedly stuttered as he was dying after Gordon of Gite had slashed him across the face with his sword. "You have spoilt a better face than your own." Moray's mother had a painting made of Moray's hewn body, which is now kept at Darnaway Castle. Some tales have an apparition of Moray being seen on the beach, hair ablaze at the spot where he was slain. Oh, we're going to look that up, actually. Bonnie Earl of Moray painting. Let's try that again. So, Earl of Moray painting. Painting. Okay, so that must be the... Okay. Right, I think we found it. Bonnie Earl of Moray, JPEG. We do like to flesh these stories out with historical fact. So, Earl of Moray painting. Oh, Derp finally decides to get off my lap. Yeah, here we are. Wikipedia Commons. So present, invite, share screen. There he is. There, that is the painting that is being referred to. I think we'll do a little bit of... Yeah, that's quite grim. That's an understatement. That's very grim, but yeah, there we go. That's the painting. We're learning stuff tonight, folks. Derp got bored, so he's jumped off my lap and he's gone downstairs. So Ian probably vainly in search of some dinner, but he'll have to wait until the show's over. So cheers, me beers. Oh, Slange. Dornoch Castle Hotel. Standing near the fine restored cathedral in the pleasant city, Dornoch Palace or Castle is a tall and impressive tower and courtyard dating from the 13th or 14th century, with later additions. The palace was built by the bishops of Caithness, but passed to the Earls of Sutherland after the Reformation. In 1567, George Sinclair, 4th Earl of Caithness, had Dornoch torched and the castle besieged to secure possession of the young Earl of Sutherland in an attempt to seize that earldom and add it to his own one of Caithness. The palace held out for a month, but eventually surrendered and hostages were given by the garrison. The palace held out for a month, but eventually surrendered, and hostages given by the garrison were murdered. The building was then torched and left a ruin until restored in the 19th century as a courthouse and jail. Latterly, the building has been used as a fine hotel. Dornoch Castle, come in. Dornoch Castle is reputedly haunted by the ghost of Andrew McCornish, who was imprisoned here after being charged with stealing sheep. Sights of his phantom were reported at the end of the 19th century, and there have also apparently been recent manifestations in the oldest part of the building, such as shaking walls and unexplained noises, as if furniture were being dragged over the floor. There are also stories of phantoms and half-seen apparitions being spotted. An underground passageway reputedly links the palace to the nearby cathedral, and it was into this tunnel that all the last bishop's wealth was reputedly placed during the Reformation. Should the treasure ever be found, the story goes that this will herald the end of the Earls and Dukes of Sutherland. Dornoch, come in. Dornoch is also believed to be the last place to witness the execution of a woman accused of witchcraft, Janet Horn, in 1722 or 1727. See Witch's Stone, Dornoch. Hotel, telephone number, website address. A paranormal investigation was undertaken by ghost finders in February 2006. Website address, February 2006. Still feels like the recent past, folks. 20 years ago. How can the 2000s now be 20 years ago? What do you reckon, Derp? Derp is too busy soaking up the heat from the fire there, so I'm going to leave him to it. You happy down there? Yeah, of course you are. Oh, slash me for everybody. Oh, cheers me, beers. Doune Castle. Sorry, no, we're not Doune Castle. Douglas Castle. Little remains of Douglas Castle, a 13th century stronghold, which was once a fortress of some renown. The castle was built by the Douglases and was held by the English in 1307, which is 1:07, during the Wars of Independence. Sir James Douglas trapped the English garrison while they were at worship in the chapel and recaptured the castle for the Scots. He had the garrison slaughtered and dumped in the cellar before torching the castle in what became known as Douglas's larder. The old castle was eventually replaced by a splendid new mansion with round towers and turrets, but this was demolished because of subsidence due to mining. Plans have been put forward to turn the site into a historical theme park. The site is believed to be haunted by a phantom black dog. Black Shuck, that dog, he doesn't care for you. Let's have a bit more of the old beer now. What are we up to? 20 minutes and 45 seconds. So cheers, me beers. Oh, slange. Doune Castle. Standing on a strong site in a lovely location above the River Teith, Doune Castle has two strong and lofty towers linked by a lower range. These buildings form two sides of a courtyard, the other two sides enclosed by a high curtain wall. The castle was built by Robert Stewart, Duke of Albany, who virtually ruled Scotland during the reign of Robert III and the imprisonment in England of the young James I. When Albany died in 1420, his son Murdoch succeeded him as regent and as duke. But when James I was freed in 1424, he had Murdoch executed. The beer burps at 21 minutes and 56 seconds. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's better. Murdoch or Murdo? No, I think that's Murdoch. But yeah, that's your landed gentry for you, isn't it? It's just like when Albany died in 1420, his son Murdoch succeeded him as regent and duke. But when James I was freed in 1424, he had Murdoch executed. Doune was kept as a royal hunting lodge, prison, and dower house. Too bloody right, it's dower. The castle was occasionally used by Mary, Queen of Scots, her suite of rooms being in the kitchen tower. And this is another place where a ghostly apparition of Mary has reputedly been spotted. She gets around a bit, doesn't she? The property passed to the Earls of Moray. The ballad, The Bonny Earl of Moray, tells the tale of the murder of the Earl of Moray at Donnybristle. See that entry. By the Gordon Earl of Huntley, and has the last verse. O lang will his lady look o'er the castle Doune, ere she see the Earl of Moray come sounding through the tune. Historic Scotland, open all year, April to October, daily, November to March, Saturday to Wednesday closed, Thursday to Friday closed, 25th and 26th of December, and the 1st and 2nd of January. Phone number and website address. Slange. Oh, lovely. Doune Highland Hotel. Located in the quiet village, the Doune Highland Hotel is a small and welcoming family-run hotel. The hotel is said to be haunted by at least 3 ghosts. There are stories of an apparition being spotted on the stair, the phantom of a woman with dark hair. Another phantom of a man dressed in blue overalls is reported to have been seen going through the restaurant and the toilet before vanishing. There are also accounts of the ghost of a large dog witnessed in one of the rooms. Other manifestations are reported, such as unexplained footsteps and voices, the smell of tobacco smoke coming from an area where no smokers were present, and objects being moved or disappearing in the kitchen area. A human bone found in one of the walls also disappeared without explanation. Phone number and website address. A paranormal investigation was undertaken in November 2006 by Ghost Finders website address, blah, blah, blah. I would say, though, that if a human bone found in one of the walls also disappeared without explanation, well, I'm just going to say there are also accounts of the ghost of a large dog witnessed in one of the rooms. I think the dog had the bone. So, I mean, it might be a ghost, but he's still going to give in to his canine preferences. So, oh my goodness me, derps. We's Gert starving. What are we up to? 25 minutes, right? Couple more, and then it'll be half time. Oh. Now, there is another scotch that I've seen in Lidl, which I might try. I think it's American, and it's a honey scotch. But you never know. It could be my next favourite thing. So anyway. Doune of Rothiemurchus. Doune, a mansion dating from the late 18th century, is a property of the Grants of Rothiemurchus, and was home to Elizabeth Grant, author of Memoirs of a Highland Lady. The house was said to be haunted by the son of a laird who suffered from episodes of madness. During one of these, he reputedly strangled a servant girl on the stairs, then died himself after falling over the banister. His ghost reportedly haunts the house, and activity is said to be concentrated in one of the bedrooms. Aren't they always? Open April to October, phone number and website. Dreadnought Hotel calendar. The Dreadnought Hotel was built in 1802 by Francis MacNab, the chief of his clan. Dreadnought is the motto of the MacNabs. The Dreadnought is an imposing building modified down the years and used as a hotel. There has apparently been a hostelry here since the 17th century. Francis MacNab had his seat at Kinnell House near Killin and lived in some style and eccentricity and wickedness, according to some tales, see below, although he did not apparently have the funds to finance his lifestyle. He is depicted in Sir Henry Raeburn's impressive portrait of him, resplendent in full Highland dress. MacNab was succeeded by his nephew Archibald as chief, but Archibald escaped his circling creditors by fleeing to Canada. The Dreadnought is said to be haunted by the ghost of a girl. There are at least two versions of the story behind the haunting. One is that she was a servant girl who was made pregnant by Francis MacNab, and he tossed her out of one of the windows on the upper floors to rid himself of her. A second, that he walled up his wife somewhere in the building. A second ghost is said to manifest itself by sobbing and weeping, heard coming from one of the bedrooms. One story is that an infant, an illegitimate child of MacNab, was drowned in an old well in the basement of the hotel, and eerie weeping can still at times be heard. A third ghost is said to be that of MacNab himself. Phone number and website address. Right, let's look that up, shall we? 29 minutes and 29 seconds. So we are going to look up Francis MacNab portrait. We're going to look up Francis MacNab Highland portrait. Oh, there we go. The notorious chief. Oh, my goodness me. I see what they mean. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we are adding colour to the stories tonight, and we've just bumped through half time as well. So there he is, Francis MacNab. What a miserable sod he looks. Just seeing what it says. He is depicted in Sir Henry Raeburn's impressive portrait of him, resplendent in full Highland dress. I think that's Sir Henry Raeburn's portrait of him. Incroyable, everybody. I'm just going to go back a page here a second. History. The notorious chief. Yeah, that is the painting that they're talking about. This striking portrait, this striking and imposing character glaring down from Sir Henry Raeburn's celebrated portrait. The MacNab seems to be the perfect figure of an 18th century. Yeah, Sir Henry Raeburn, that's the one. Yeah, that's it. That's the one we were looking for. Goodness me. It's great to be able to put flesh to the bones of these stories. Right, what to report today? Today's been a bit stressful, but that's life for you. I'm afraid life cannot always be Sunday night ghost stories. So, I am, fingers crossed, looking forward to a slightly less stressful week ahead. Hopefully a 2-reg walk during the week. I may be meeting up with friend Faye on Tuesday. Hopefully meeting up with friend Laura. Yeah, it's. I've got no complaints, folks. Honestly, my mindset these days is, I just don't do negative. To be honest with you, try and keep it all positive, and keep moving forward. Bit like a shark. Keep swinging. Keep swimming. Got lots of work to crack on with. Got a very exciting project I'm doing at the moment. It's quite involved, but it's brilliant stuff. Tuesday and Wednesday, weather-wise, are looking pretty good. So, yeah, looking forward to that. I also do declare that Liverpool won this evening, this afternoon. Just going to BBC Sport. Football, I think Arsenal won. They beat Spurs 4-1 at White Hart Lane. Fulham beat Sunderland 3-1. Forest lost 1-0 to Liverpool, and Crystal Palace beat Wolves 1-0. Let's just have a quick look at the table. And we are on 45 points. So we're level with United and Chelsea. 45 points, 55. We're still 15 points off of Arsenal. Don't think we're going to win the league this year, but you live in hope. So it's a busy old week. So cheers, me beers. Oh, delicious. Slange. Oops. Deliciouser. We overfilled that a bit. Right. So, part 2 of tonight's beer. And of course, it is our favourite, the coffee stout from Aldi. I forgot to mention that amongst my other friends I'm hoping to have a catch up with soon is friend Judith and friend Jackie. So, yeah. What do you reckon, Derps? Yeah, he's quite happy down there. So, Dreadnought Hotel, we've done that. What are we up to? 21, 50, 51. Dreel Tavern and Strother, located on the high street of the attractive seaside village. The Dreel Tavern is an atmospheric and friendly tavern, dating from the 16th century, and formerly a coaching inn. I think that should be and formerly a coaching inn, and a former coaching inn, not and a formerly a coaching inn. Come on, proofread your books. There is a plaque commemorating the visit of James V. The story going that James was carried piggyback over the Dreel Burn by a beggar woman. It was usual practice in fishing communities for the women folk to carry their men out to the boats. So the blokes reckon. The lass was rewarded by the king's purse, although some people have suggested that the king rode her rather more intimately. The woman is said to have given him a benison, good wishes, saying, "May prick nor purse ever fail you." This phrase is said to have inspired the formation of the Beggars' Benison of Anstruther, a secret society established in 1739, a Scottish society of an erotic and convivial nature, composed of the nobility and gentry of Anstruther. The society met in the now demolished Dreel Castle. Anstruther and Summers, more like. The Dreel Tavern is said to be haunted. There are accounts of an apparition of a man dressed as a seafarer or pirate, which has been seen on more than one occasion, sitting on a chair in a bedroom. Other manifestations in this chamber are reputed to include the unexplained movement of a bed, which someone was sleeping in when someone was sleeping in it, and a shelf turning round by itself, although the ornaments on it did not fall off. Other unexplained occurrences are said to be footsteps heard coming from the top floor, although the area was unoccupied, as well as the noise of doors closing and the sounds of boisterous children playing, heard early one morning. Brass plates also fell from a wall with no obvious explanation, and half-seen movement or shadows have also been witnessed after the bar had closed. A paranormal investigation undertaken. Website address and telephone number and website address as well. That's vague, isn't it? A paranormal investigation undertaken by who? Well, it does say actually paranormaldiscovery.co.uk. There we go. www.paranormaldiscovery.co.uk. Right. That's an amusing story. So we are just going to send the amusing story to a friend of mine because they do like amusing stories. Oh, the beer burps. Again, do apologise. Bum, bum, bum. Bear with. So I got to annotate this. What do you do on Sunday night? I tuned in to watch Sunday Night Ghost Stories, but instead I watched a confused man from Dudley dick around with his bloody phone for 5 minutes. So that's what we're looking for. Add shape. Arrow. That's what we want. We don't want a big arrow. We want a smaller arrow. Oh, that's really annoying that it's not working. We'll do this after. We'll do this when we're waiting for supper. Not long, we're halfway through a ghost story show. 40 minutes. So we've got 20 minutes of this nonsense. 20 minutes of this quality entertainment to go. Dreel Tavern, Anstruther. Not Ann Summers, Anstruther. Located on the high street of an attractive seaside village. Oh no, we've read that one. It's almost like I've had a beer and a bump. Drovers Inn in Inveranen. Inveranen. Inveranen, right. Drovers Inn in Inveranen. Located in a lovely hill-clad spot to the north of Loch Lomond. The Drovers Inn is an atmospheric, memorable and intriguing hostelry dating back to the 18th century. The inn was used by Highland drovers moving cattle down the banks of Loch Lomond to the markets of the south. There are several accounts of ghosts at the Drovers Inn. Perhaps the most disturbing is that several people sleeping in room 6 have woken up to find that it feels as if they are lying next to a cold and dank body. I think any of my ex-girlfriends would testify to that. The story is that the girl drowned in a burn and her corpse was laid out in that room. Another tale is that a couple who were sleeping in room 2 woke up to find that there were the phantoms of a man, woman, and lad standing at the end of their bed. The bogle of a cattle drover is reported to be occasionally seen in the hallways and in the bar. Reputedly, sometimes the sitting apparition of an old man. Read that again. The bogle of a cattle drover is reported to be occasionally seen in the hallways and in the bar. Reputedly, sometimes the sitting apparition of an old man is spotted, known as Old George. His ashes are apparently kept in an urn in the inn. There is also the story concerning a couple staying at the inn who, when looking through photos in their camera, found ones of them sleeping in bed from the previous night. Website address, telephone number, website address, blah 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 blah. I'll read that again. There's also a story concerning a couple staying at the inn who, when looking through photos in their camera, found ones of them sleeping in bed from the previous night. Perhaps they took them. I don't get that. The context doesn't work. Right, we've got some photographs here. Dreel Tavern, Anne Struther, not Anne Summers, page 110, and Drovers Inn, Inverrannan, page 110. So there we go. Bum, bum, bum. Are we all happy with that? Yeah, good. Right, jolly good. Derp's still down here in front of the fire. So what are we up to? 43 minutes. Oh, that coffee stout is lovely, lovely stuff. We're just going to top the glass up here. Slash. Drumlanrig Castle. The large and stately towered mansion dating mostly from the 17th century incorporates part of an ancient castle. Drumlanrig was held by the Douglases, later Earls and Dukes of Queensberry, from the 14th century or earlier. James Douglas of Drumlanrig was involved in the death of Marion Carruthers at Comlongan Castle. See that entry. Bonnie Prince Charlie stayed at the castle in 1745, which is 5:45, after his retreat from Derby, and his men sacked and damaged the building, including stabbing a picture of William of Orange. Since repaired, Drumlanrig passed to the Scott Dukes of Buckley in 1810, with whose descendants it remains. 3 ghosts are believed to haunt the castle. One is reputed to be the spirit of Lady Anne Douglas, dressed in white, with her fan in one hand and her head in the other. There is no story, however, about how she came to lose her head. Indeed, there is apparently no woman of that name who was beheaded. Another bogle is said to be that of a young woman in a flowing dress that is reputed to appear to people who are ill and bedridden in the castle. The third is of a monkey, ape, or other creature, witnessed in the Yellow Monkey Room. Clues in the name, folks. Another story is that someone was murdered in one of the corridors. Another story is that someone was murdered in one of the corridors, the Bloody Passage, and that the resultant spilt blood could not be washed off the floor. There is also a strange story concerning William Douglas, Duke of Queensberry. Douglas obtained an evil reputation for his treatment of Covenanters. One tenant of his, while in Sicily, claimed that on the night Douglas died, he saw a black coach bearing Douglas soar to the top of Mount Etna. Just to confirm the identity, a voice cried out, "Open to the Duke of Queensberry," before the coach plunged into the steaming caldera, an indication that Douglas was on his way to hell. The only thing that seems true about this tale is that the tenant did not drink. Sorry, the only thing that seems true about this tale is that the tenant did not think much of Douglas. There is also a prophecy by Thomas the Rhymer about the castle. House of Hassock is another name for Drumlanrig. When the Mar burns where never man saw, the house of the Hassock is near to afar. This is said to have been fulfilled when Charles, 3rd Duke, diverted the Mar burn to make a fountain and cascade south of the castle. There again. This is said to have been fulfilled when Charles, 3rd Duke, diverted the Mar burn to make a fountain and cascade south of the castle. His 2 sons died young. The burn has since been returned to its original course. Castle open Good Friday to August. Country Park open Good Friday to September. Telephone number and website. What are we up to? 48. I've got 12 minutes of this nonsense. 12 minutes of this quality entertainment left. Cheers, me beers. For the second time tonight, we have a dead soldier. And run VT.
Oh, it's jolly nice of you. Hello, dead soldier. Seen plenty of those in my time.
Indeed. Oh, we didn't have a bump. Slows me on. Drummoral. Just making sure that's where we are. Yeah, Drummoral. The lands of Drummoral were held by the MacCulloch family in the early part of the 17th century and then by the Coltranes. One of the family was William Coltrane, Provost of Wigtown, who in May 1685, year of the Battle of Sedgemoor, folks, is believed to have been instrumental in the prosecution of the Wigtown martyrs, when 2 women were tied to posts and drowned by the incoming sea. He was vilified by his Covenanter enemies, and it is said that when he died, the windows of the house in which he perished were all ablaze as if the place was consumed by fire, believed to show that Coltrane was being taken into the fiery pits of hell. The story also goes that his ghost began to haunt the area where he perished, his terrifying bogle reputed to be often spotted with fire snorting from its nostrils. Just information here, just map refs or whatever. Fire snorting from his nostrils. Perhaps he was a smoker. I'm not. It's a reprehensible habit, but there we go. Drummoor Castle. Right, what are we up to, Derps? We are 51 minutes. We got 9 more minutes of this nonsense to go. Call entertainment. Oh, Slange. Oh, great. These are all beautifully short. Drummore Castle. Little or nothing remains of a 16th century tower house owned by the Adaires of Kilhilt, which was habitable in 1684. There were significant remains incorporated into the farm at Low Drummore until the last part was demolished in 1963. Oh, the beer burp, still apologise. Oh. Until the last part was demolished in 1963. Don't look at me, folks. I wasn't born until 4 years later. It is said that when the castle was first pulled down, a skeleton and a spear were found sealed up in one of the walls, and materials from the castle were used to build Low Drummore. Mysterious noises then plagued the building, including a sound as if a thread was being snapped. The room where this occurred had to be abandoned for a while until the last of the castle was demolished, since when the activity is believed to have ceased. Bow, bow, bow. 53 minutes. Oh my goodness me, Derps. We are starving. Derps still sat here in front of the fire. He's just bizarre cat. See, there he is, just sat there, not even laid down. He's just sat upright in front of the fire. What strange things cats are. Right. Drumtochty Castle. Standing in acres of wooded grounds, Drumtochty Castle is a large castellated mansion dating from 1812, although the building may incorporate part of an old castle. The mansion was built for the Reverend J.S. Gamel of Countess Wessells. Read that again. The mansion was built for the Reverend J.S. Gamel of Countess Wells, but was later used as a hospital in World War I, then as a hotel, then as a school from 1948 until 1968. The house was restored in the 1970s and is now a residence again. The building is said to be haunted by a green lady, and manifestations are reported to have been recently witnessed. Available for weddings, events, and accommodation. Phone number and website address. Oh, these are fabulously short. Unfortunately, I don't have any snacks up with me tonight, but well, we're going to have some supper in a minute, so. Slouch. In fact, we're going to take a photograph of Derps. Oh, we've got the exposure. I was doing stuff in the studio today. There we go. "55 minutes and 38 seconds, right. Dryburgh Abbey. A picturesque and substantial ruin by the banks of the Tweed, the abbey was founded by David I as a Premonstratensian. Just read that again. Premonstratensian. Right, try again. A picturesque and substantial ruin by the banks of the Tweed, the abbey was founded by David I as a Premonstratensian establishment dedicated to St. Mary. Most of the buildings date from the 12th and 13th centuries, and part of the church survives, as do substantial portions of the cloister, including the fine chapel house, parlour, and vestry. The abbey was burnt by the English in 1322, 1385, and the abbey was burnt by the English in 1322, 1385, and 1545. Sir Walter Scott and Earl Haig are both buried here. The abbey ruins are said to be haunted by ghostly monks. Are any of them called Harry? Let's find out. Who in life had deceived a dying man into leaving them all his money. The unexplained sounds of chanting have also been reported. Historic Scotland, open all year, daily, closed the 25th to 26th of December and 1st and 2nd of January. Phone number and website. Oh, derps, we need some food tonight. What are we up to? 57 minutes. Right, cheers, me beers. Slange. I'm just having a look to see. Yeah, I think we'll probably do under 2 more, and then that'll be it. Dryburgh Abbey Hotel, set on the banks of the wide Tweed in a lovely spot and close to the fine ruins of the ancient abbey, see Dryburgh Abbey, is the Dryburgh Abbey Hotel. On the site of a much older building, the hotel is housed in a large and strapping castellated mansion with a pink bluish, and it stands in 10 acres of grounds. On the site of a much older building, the hotel is housed in a large and strapping castellated mansion with a pink blush, and it stands in 10 acres of grounds. A fair maiden from what was then known as Mantle House fell in love with one of the monks of Dryburgh Abbey, and the two soon became intimate, but they were not sufficiently discreet. The abbot found out, and being a good Christian fellow, he had the poor love-struck monk killed. When the maid discovered that her lover was slain, she was despairing, and she wandered down to the river Tweed. When the maid discovered that her lover was slain, she was despairing, and she wandered down to the Tweed, where she cast herself into the water and was drowned. Was drowned or drowned? Drowned. Yeah, drowned. Yeah, again. When the maid discovered that her lover was slain, she was despairing, and she wandered down to the Tweed, where she cast herself into the water and was drowned. Her ghost, described as a grey lady, has reputedly been seen on the chain bridge over the Tweed and in outbuildings of the hotel. There is also her ghost, described as a grey lady, has reputedly been seen on the chain bridge over the Tweed and in outbuildings of the hotel. There is also a story that an apparition of the monk was seen several times in the 19th century. Disturbances apparently increased during building work. We've bumped through the hour mark, folks. Is the monk called Harry? Doesn't say. We will have a monk called Harry at some stage. I know, I feel it in my bones. So, right, last do it for tonight, and then that's it. We're going to have some supper and watch some Family Guy. So, Slange. Ducal Castle. Little remains of Ducal Castle, a stronghold of the Lyles, who were once made lords. Read that again. Little remains of Ducal Castle, a stronghold of the Lyles, who were once made Lords Lyles in 1440 and Lord High Justices of Scotland. The castle was besieged by James IV after the Lyles had joined a rebellion against him. The castle was abandoned for nearby Ducal House, which was built around 1768, and when the old castle was being demolished for materials, it is said that human bones were found in one of the chambers on the upper floors. The castle was said to have been haunted by the spirit of an excommunicated monk. Is he called Harry? Let's find out. In the 13th century, apparently a very corporeal ghost. The monk would stand on the walls of Ducal and shout and swear at the occupants. The ghost could not be got rid of. Arrows melted when they hit the ghost, until the son of a laird, a particularly good youth, cornered the foul-mouthed bogle in the great hall. In the ensuing battle, the son was killed and the hall wrecked, but the ghost departed and was not witnessed again. One account has the castle haunted by a white lady. Right, this is it, folks. We are last un for tonight. So cheers, me biz. Oh, I'm looking forward to supper tonight. Duff House. Duff House, a fine classical mansion with colonnades and corner towers, dates from 1735 and was designed by Duff House, a fine classical mansion with colonnades and corner towers, dates from 1735 and was designed by William Adam for William Duff of Bracco, later Earl of Fife. I've got the beer burps here. Let's try it again, Derbs. Duff House, a fine classical mansion with colonnades and corner towers, dates from 1735 and was designed by William Adam for William Duff of Bracco, later Earl of Fife. Adam and Duff fell out over the cost of building the house, and work stopped in 1741. The subsequent, time-consuming and expensive legal action was eventually won by Adam. The house is now used to display works of art from the National Galleries of Scotland, and there is a programme of changing exhibitions as well as musical and other events. The building is said to have a green lady. Historical Scotland open April to September, daily October to March, Sunday to Thursday, closed 25th, 26th of December and 1st to 2nd of January. Phone number and website. Right, when we pick up next time, folks, it's going to be the Dumfries House ghost story. Brilliant stuff. Just going to mention the fact that today would have been the 100th birthday of Kenneth Williams. Oh my goodness me. That's the scary thing. Ken, I speak of him as a personal friend, but Kenneth Williams died a little over the age of 60. In fact, we're just going to Google it. I'm sure he was only 60 when he died. Oh, we've still got map my walk running here. 62 when he passed away in April 15th, 1988, which is terrifying because I will be, in a few weeks' time, I will be 59. I am rapidly starting to catch up with the late, great Kenneth Williams. But yeah, he would have been 100 today. So God bless you, Ken. We love you. We really do. So from the Carry On films, I made this point today. My introduction to Kenneth Williams was through the Carry On films, then through Hancock's Half Hour, then through Round the Horn and Beyond Our Ken and everything else in between. So God bless you, Ken. Cheers, me beers. Slange. And that's it. Oh my goodness me. That's it for tonight, folks. We are going downstairs to have some supper and watch some Family Guy. So until the next time, it behoves me to say, me and Derp, there he is down there. It behoves me to say thank you for watching. Why? Why not? What else are you going to do on a Sunday night towards the end of February than watch a confused man from Dudley with holes in his head, drink ghost stories, and read alcohol? Come on, folks. You can do better. I can't. I am locked into this as a curse. But in fact, the next time we might actually be dipping into the haunted almanac of Devon and Cornwall. So anyway, until the next time, it behoves me to say thank you for watching. Why not? Stay safe, stay out of trouble, and please don't have nightmares. Good night.